What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are diving back into the light novel Advanced of Zeta. Last time, the Titans test team was transferred to the Aswan to the Ismir. Zola and the Zeon remnants joined the AEUG, and the Titans attacked Kamchaka base. This time, Karishima hides in a church. The Battle of Kamchaka concludes, and they head back to space. The Titans are assigned a new mission to take out a Levian Rose-class ship. So let's get into this. UC-0088. The Fetties pursue Karishima as he drives through a residential area. He is trying to get to the freeway. His left side mirror is shot off. Well, it looks like they are shooting to kill, he thinks. Once on the highway, the Fetties can't be so reckless in public. As he speeds on the highway, the Fetty van stops following. A bright light immediately blares through the rear view mirror. It is a Fetty chopper. They really aren't playing around. It gets low and pursues. Too low for a chopper. Suddenly, the engine goes out on the helicopter and the rotors nip Karishima's car. This causes him to spin off the freeway into an embankment with a forest in the background. The reporter pushes himself out of the car wreckage and notices that the helicopter crashed. He comes back to reality and shovels into the forest. He can't stand up, so he crawls on all fours. Audrey, Carl, Hendrik, Joanna, and Comrade talk over dinner. They're certain he is good on most of the charges, but the charges regarding the colony still remain up in the air. He needs to know everything. Carl says it was a hellish battle between the AEUG, Axis, and the Titans. Everyone was split up. On this chaotic battlefield, it was hard to spot anyone, let alone comrades. Eliard went off on his own and told Carl he has a mission of his own. Conrad says if that is the case, he can't testify on the two remaining charges. After the fall of the Ismir, the Aswan took in all Ismir units. Before he even made it to the Aswan, Eliard got a new mobile suit. Murphy was injured and called over Eliard before he sortied. During this time, the mobile suit was destroyed and no one can confirm he didn't sabotage it. Carl says there is one man who would know this, his enemy, Gabriel Zola, who was there till the very end. UC-0087, Kamchaka. Gabriel Zola watches on as the Titans test team descend on Kamchaka base. He is in the Gym 2. The Fiver transforms into mobile suit form. He notices the Mars sign the Titans' colors, referring to Carl's Rosette. He shoots at Rosette, but his beam rifle is out of ammo. As Rosette aims at Zola, a missile barrage comes down. It is Gym 2's and Nemo's from Karaba. They tell Zola to pull back. Rather, he decides to pick up rubble and chuck it at the enemy. A familiar ex-Fetty comes on the comms to tell him that his Aasimar is ready. Carl notices the Aasimar coming in. It crosses path with the Fiver and transforms into mobile suit form. Eliard is taking care of Nemo's on the ground. He uses his thrusters and does himself a good old Amado ray jump and fires at the Aasimar. Zola says, nice piloting on the comms. Murphy recognizes that it is Zola. He wonders why he is fighting with the AEUG now. He thinks Murphy is piloting the Gundam, but the Hazel pops up and says, oh hey, that's me. Karaba's forces were starting to run out of ammo, and Zola notices this. He transforms into flight form and makes his retreat. Back on the Ismir, the ship gets a red alert. Audrey is on standby in the Hazel-Rah. The mechanics are adding extra thrusters and binders in a configuration known as Hazel-Rah's second form. The RX-121-1 plus FF-X29A Gundam TR-1 Hazel-Rah second form is the Hazel Custom with 2 Hurdudu G-parts attached. This gives the unit 4 binders. The Hurdudu's nose sensor unit can also be used as a connector for shield boosters. This can also equip the gap lamp booster and create insane levels of thrust. Because of this, the unit focuses on long-range hit-and-run tactics. Weapons include 2 beam sabers, Vulcans, a shield booster, a beam rifle, and a long blade rifle. It also has multiple multi-purpose launchers. Thrusters at the waist enhance the acceleration while negating the torque. This was based off of Audrey's own suggestion. The captain tells her that an AEUG Zanzibar deployed 3 Nemos. Audrey launches. She doesn't need a catapult to launch. She uses her own thrusters and takes off. She activates sniping mode and points her dual long blade rifles. It hits one of the Nemos. There is a lot of power behind this gun. The 2 remaining Nemos spread out. Executive Officer Enrique Hammond is watching on the bridge of the Ismir along with Captain Schroeder. These 2 have a past and were former mobile suit pilots. Schroeder is the kind of man that will make himself the villain if it means his crew survives. Hammond says that Audrey's battle style is familiar. He mentions she is like the Dendrobium pilot from Operation Stardust. Schroeder reminds Hammond that the Dendrobium doesn't officially exist. Remember, if you ask Federation officials about the events of Stardust Memory, they will deny it. They'll just go, nope, don't know what you're talking about. Audrey successfully takes down the remaining 2 units. UC-0088. Conrad is confused that Zola was originally a Zeon remnant before joining the AEUG. They were barely scraping by with their mobile suits on the verge of falling apart. Carl says that since UC-0085 This Gabriel Zola seemed to be obsessed, specifically over the Gundam and Konpei Island, or Solomon as they call it. Many Zeon soldiers from the 1 Year War heard stories of the Gundam, so it makes sense. But the irony being here that the Gundam became a symbol of the AEUG during this time. Conrad's friend Earhart, who knows all the records, never mentioned this Zola character. Many AEUG members who were former Federation members ended up rejoining the military. But those who were AEUG with a Zeon background definitely didn't. After all, Char took the same route as well. There are rumors that he rejoined Axis and is rebuilding a new Zeon. The first thing they need to do is find Gabriel Zola. They don't really have time to drag this trial out any longer. Joanna doesn't think they will have time to find him. She gets a phone call informing her of Karishima. Karishima told Joanna that he was shot by Fetties while fleeing from his home. They turn on the TV. The news mentions it in a 3-second segment and moves on. They're barely covering this accident. Joanna reminds Conrad that Axis is becoming a bigger problem for the Fetties. Some say that they are now going by Neo Zeon. If they are planning on making themselves known to the world, that means Zola might flee to Axis. That will make things more difficult for them. It was past midnight, but everyone is wide awake. He gets to work thinking of a plan. UC 0087. The Titans test team is prepping a shuttle back into space. There is a flaw. Their takeover of the space is merely temporary. Murphy jokes that it would be easier to kamikaze during this mission. He can actually enter into space on his own. He is going to protect the shuttle as it is vulnerable. Just as Murphy predicted, the red alert goes off, and Ashimar and 3 Nemos approach their location. Elliot wants to join Murphy, but he tells his subordinate to wait for him on the Ismir. This base has a rail system, which is a mini-mass driver system. Zola is amazed by the Fiver, but his unit is built for dogfights, and the Fiver seems like it's hard to turn around real fast. They're here to reclaim the base. That is when the shuttle doors open. Zola transforms into mobile suit form. Elliot and Carl watch the battle from within the shuttle. The Fiver is going to struggle with its small turning radius. Elliot insists he go out, but Carl says they are a test team, and they must get their test data back to the ship. The Asimar flanks the Fiver. The Fiver sheds its giant armor, revealing the Gaplant Hyrule underneath. Murphy's speed increased to unimaginable levels. It's like Piccolo taking off his weighted armor. Murphy takes out the Nemos with ease and begins fighting Zola. That is when the shuttle launches into space. Zola transforms into flight mode and retreats. UC 0088. Karishima is fleeing into the forest. He is going to lay low until the fires die down. He thinks he should move to another town and lay low. He reflects about how the media portrays the Federation and the Titans as two sides of the same coin. The AEUG were painted as freedom fighters fighting for space rights, but even their motives were backed by corporations. He didn't write the article just to run and hide. He calls Joanna and informs her of the situation. He reveals that this forest, which is in Nevada by the way, is entirely artificial. Well yeah, it's in Nevada. He heads to town and gets some water at a fast food joint. He then eats a burger and dials Michael Chang. Karishima tells him of the situation and he wants to publish his piece. The paper is currently selling like crazy. New Carson City is a military town, so it shows that the readers are fed up with the decision of the current leadership. Chang wants a follow-up piece. Karishima will have it in his inbox ASAP. He heads to a local church that takes in homeless and asks for shelter. He can't use his credit cards at a hotel, giving away his location. In his bunk, he whips out his phone and writes his follow-up article. He is no longer writing for Joanna. This is for himself. It took him about 2 hours to complete. After a few drafts, he sends it off to the editor. He eventually drifts off to sleep. UC 0087. A new squad came to the Ismir and the mobile suit deck started to get cramped. Ever since Kamchaka, the test team has been integrated into assault forces. Murphy is now using Hyrule, Elliot the Hazel Custom, and Carl the Advanced Hazel. Audrey runs support where needed. Commander Enrique Hammond briefs them on the next operation. They are to attack Rosa Gigantia. This is a Levian Rose-class ship that is currently orbiting Earth and intersects in between Konpei Island and the Gates of Zidane. Murphy's squad will lead the attack. They are to capture Rosa Gigantia, but if that can't happen, they are to destroy it. Murphy and Elliot launch. Conrad's Advanced Hazel is equipped with a sniper loadout. Audrey launches in the Herdudu. Following them is the second squad, consisting of a Marasai and 2 Hyzaks. 2 Nemos and 1 Rick Diaz launch from Rosa Gigantia. Carl takes aim with his sniper rifle, but Murphy tells him to stand down. Behind the Levian Rose-class ship is the Zanzibar. A black Rick Diaz and 2 Nemos come from the ship carrying large beam cannons. He changes his targets and fires. They return fire with beam cannons. In a rare moment in Gundam history, they actually have a practical long-range battle. Inside the Rick Diaz is Zola. The way this mobile suit feels He is certain this was made with Zeon blood. Of course, it was, as Shar and Sumeri, along with Granada Anaheim Electronics, are responsible for this machine. He is to protect Rosa Gigantia. He stays back to allow the Nemos to use their beam cannons, but they need to be mobile. He decides to push in. So much for practicality. Murphy engages with Zola. Carl pushes in towards Rosa Gigantia, where Audrey covers him. Elyard can't get the ship in his scopes, and there's too much beam crossfire. A white light consumes Elyard's monitors. He hears Audrey scream Carl's name. Carl's advanced Hazel was hit. Oh no! Except we know the future, so there's no tension. And that will do it for this episode. The Fetties aren't playing around anymore as they try to take out any dissenting opinion regarding this trial. Karishima is on the run, but that won't stop his journalistic integrity. That doesn't exist anymore. It's very quaint. If you notice, now that they're in wartime mode, the mobile suit choices have been streamlined. They are more practical for war. Next time, the Battle of Rosa Gigantia continues. Karishima continues running, and Axis allies itself with the Titans. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, try to have a little bit of journalistic integrity. Yeah, you won't. Peace.